Hello and welcome to Pyrford TV Arts, the Autumn Edition 2017. I'm Tim Matthews. We're at the Woking Arts Fair today in the centre of town. All along Mercia Walk, where we are today, will be the displays and stands for all the local artists. And we'll be visiting them during the programme. But we begin with our seasonal poem. And it's by Dante Gabriele Rossetti, a British poet no less, born in 1828. He became an illustrator, painter and a translator, and he also founded the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood in 1848. Here's Stephen Garlick reading Rossetti's Autumn Song.
Knowest thou not, at the fall of the leaf, how the heart feels a languid grief laid on it for a covering, and how sleep seems a goodly thing in autumn at the fall of the leaf, and how the swift beat of the brain falters because it is in vain in autumn at the fall of the leaf, knowest thou not, and how the chief of joys seems not to suffer pain. Knowest thou not, at the fall of the leaf, how the soul feels like a dried sheaf, bound up at length for harvesting, and how death seems a comely thing in autumn at the fall of the leaf?
Stephen Garlick was reading Rossetti's Autumn Song, and in the background and accompanying him with a Cameron duo with a touch of Purcell. This year's arts fair here in Woking was well supported by a range of artists, and not just painters, but dancers and musicians too. Among the artists were many old hands at the exhibition game. After all, this is the third Woking Arts Fair. But for one person, it's a whole new experience. Louise Hartley has been painting and making objets d'art for some time, but this is her first exhibition. So how is she getting on? I went along to find out.
My favourite subjects, as you can see, are peacocks and dragons. So I'm inspired by Indian temple art, Diwali festival, Rangoli, all the vibrant, colourful stuff. I haven't really come with any expectation. It'd be amazing if I can sell something, but I really just wanted to share my work with people. Yeah, I've had friends and family commenting more and more when they get to come over and get a glimpse of what I've done, and I thought it was time to come out into the big wide world and share it. And I have sold a few cards and a few of the little decorative objects that I've made, so that's a real bonus. But yeah, I just wanted to exhibit really, and if I sell then that's great.
Louise Hartley, whom I met earlier, enjoying her first exhibition, and will be returning to visit more of the displays at the Arts Fair before the end of the programme. Now to someone TV Arts has met before, and also a regular contributor to the Woking Arts Fair. Hannah Bruce is a local artist who's well known for her paintings in acrylics and oils. But recently she's been experimenting with a new process that produces some stunning effects. Anne Jones went to Hannah's studio to find out more.
I had an exhibition with the Woking Art Society last week, and a particular piece that I did got a highly commended, and it's one of my new ones, which is kind of a mixture of digital and ink and drawn, but in kind of limited colours. And it was a small piece, so I was quite surprised it got the highly commended, but it led to a lot of attention, and I've had a couple of people approach me they would like me to make something, either the same thing or something similar, which is really great. And I've recently had somebody see my work online. I asked her where she'd seen it, and it wasn't actually in a gallery, it was literally on the internet, and she then was looking for a particular colourway and a local artist, and she found me and she said, "Oh, can I come and see your studio?" And then she came and she saw smaller pieces, but she wanted something much bigger, so I've started on that as well. I'm really excited by using different materials and medias, which is why I have quite a lot of styles of doing things. So in a move away perhaps from traditional oil and acrylic kind of painting, I wanted to amalgamate or mix the aspects of digital art and photography with the painterly aspects. Now, in order to do that, at the moment I'm working on doing the photography, using a professional photography program to digitally enhance images. I'm really interested in local businesses and creating an art project that shows a snapshot of what they do, and showing the public all the different people that are working in our neighbourhood. And I've got this piece, the Network Mummies that I'm working with. This lady does Enjoyable for children, and it's a programme which this kind of sums up the process of using balls to entertain and look, get kids active, and I wanted to show and showcase that piece in a small one-off kind of design. Sometimes photography can have just too much in it, and people actually want it much more simplified, and so I will take a gradient approach and I will change it all into a colour. A single colour like blues, but it'll have depth of tone. So that's what I'm doing with photography manipulation. But now I've started to think, well, there's a lot of people out there that really want their own photographs done in this manner, but wouldn't know how to go about it. So I'm thinking local business as well as individuals who might have family images that they want done. And I can take those and use whichever style they preferred and then work into them with the ink. And by working into it, I mean I'm going to enhance the colour. I mean, a transfer has a limited amount of colour depth to it. So, for instance, if I did a London scene and I limited the colour on it, but somebody wanted the buses to pop, in red, I would go in ink or maybe acrylic into the certain aspects to make the reds pop, which is quite a classic. It's not a new thing to do, but the manner and the technique that I'm using is different, and moving forward. The sandpits, where the old H.G. Wells book is set, and the other is the village hall and the church and a view down to the village. What I've done is computer generated a design where I mix all of them together to create a panorama that has four views in it. And what I need to do is to address the joins, because although I've computer generated it, this is really experimental. I'm in the very early stages of doing this, so I haven't done it before. I've only done it once before.
What do your family think about your work and how sort of successful you've been with it?
My family are very supportive. I think without that I wouldn't be able to do it. I need them to be on board with it, because it actually takes a lot of weekends, a lot of family time in order to go to events and to publicise what I'm doing. My son, he is actually getting more into drawing. I've never pressed it with him, but he's picking up a lot, and he's now starting to do the drawing and get involved, and he's very visual. He just spot things that we wouldn't ever have thought. And my husband, he's actually a bit more critical, and so is my son, which is quite helpful, yes, because they know what I'm doing and they know how I work. I don't often take it very well, but then down the line I will change what they told me to change.
How do you think that art is going to evolve with all these mixed media?
I think there's many different ways that art is going to evolve. I think you have to be prepared for a lot of it to be online. I actually believe that imagery and taking photographs of your own work, there's going to be more digitalising of what you're doing. And even, for instance, the painting that I could be painting, if I was to do a 360 film or maybe a film of it as it's working through, somebody might in the future have an actual hanging screen in which they have a piece of art but shows how it was made from start to finish in like a rolling screen or something like that. I don't think that it's going to be fixing to being oils or acrylics, and I think those will be techniques we can show how they work, but it's all going to mesh in together to make fantastic advertising and really use technology.
Anne Jones was talking to Hannah Bruce at her studio in Woking. Our cameraman was Paul Vansebrook, and on sound, Matt Davis. Now, just before we leave you, let's pop back to Mercia Walk to meet some more people who are displaying their creative endeavours at this year's Woking Arts Fair.
Woking Community Play Association is set up to do community plays, which are plays which are slightly different from the normal amateur dramatic theatrical experience, in that anyone who wants to be a part of it can be. And the idea is that it strengthens and brings together different parts of the community, different organisations. We've been to the arts fair before, and it's a really good way of getting people involved in activities in the local area. I was here with Woking Community Play Association promoting our play about Dame Ethel Smythe, who was a composer who lived in Woking 100 years ago.
Here at the Woking Arts Fair, I'm exhibiting my stained glass, and after decades of working in pastels, watercolours and ceramics and sculpture, I was introduced to mouth-blown English stained glass, which is a material of such consummate beauty that I just couldn't resist getting to start working with glass, where you play with light and you can play with painting and metal melted together in a sandwich. So here we have William Scorn Blunt on the Pharaoh. He's in aluminium, fused in a sandwich of glass, and on the reverse I've painted a portrait of his wife, who did the painting of him on the horse, which is my inspiration for the piece.
Well, thank you very much for watching, and our special thanks to all our contributors here at the Woking Arts Fair. We'll be back in the spring with our usual variety of reports on local arts and events, and I hope you can join us then. If you liked our programme, well, you know what to do. Just press the subscribe button and you'll keep in touch with all that goes on, all the news, that is, at the world of Pyrford TV Arts. And will I never miss it? I'm Tim Matthews, and from all of us here in Mercia Walk at the Woking Arts Fair 2017, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the spring. I hope by then my voice has returned. Till then, goodbye.